What's up, guys? You know what it is. It's Carnage of May. As usual, hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already. It does help the channel. Don't want to be annoying, but it's free. Helps the channel. I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? Let's get that bullcrap out of the way. So, Agapova versus Robertson. I want to break down this fight, but not just this fight. I have another fight as well. I'm going to break down at least two fights here right now, okay? I'm going to Agapova versus Robertson, and we got Fili versus Algeo. I'm going to break down both of these. I've had my notes in since early in the week, but finally getting the chance to get this video out. I'll do better next week. Don't worry about it. Just a super busy week, but who gives a crap about that? Let's just get some good takes down. Hopefully get some good bets going. So yeah, been pretty, all my takes have been doing pretty well these past few weeks. Don't want to brag, but you can check out my Instagram and see. Yeah, not too many hot takes. Just trying to find the good shit. Let's get it. Agapova is tempting as an underdog. I mean, I saw that early in the week, but like, Robertson should have the grappling advantage. I mean, obviously, another hot take here. Okay, I don't care about hot takes. I care about good takes. How about that? It's an interesting matchup as it's essentially a striker versus grappler matchup. Of course, Agapova has grappling skills with 5 wins by sub and only 1 loss by sub. But you know that loss did come from Marina Moroz. But like, I mean, look, that's Marina Moroz, man. Moroz is a well-rounded fighter who could neutralize Agapova's striking. I mean, it was just, go rewatch that fight. I mean, it's kind of obvious what was going to happen, right? Yeah, I'm kind of high on Moroz. I mean, she's a good fighter in that she has a good skills, and you can kind of see, you can gauge as to who is up at her skill level and who is below it. Yeah. I mean, I really, girls like her in the division are kind of good to gauge against. So, yeah, Agapova it was not really so shocking that she lost in that matchup. Even though, I mean, I guess like a lot of people, she had hype on her and she's striking and she's kind of wild and crazy. But, Robertson, let's talk about her a bit. She lost a unanimous decision to J.J. Aldrich. I mean, speaking of which, Aldrich just lost weight again, as usual. She's kind of big for the division. Should cut down. Hopefully UFC gets that handled, like tries to build that lighter division there. So, I mean, I'm sorry, heavier division. I apologize. A heavier division there so they can actually break up them. But, I mean, like, yeah, UFC's pretty stubborn. Not exactly likely to change, but yeah, Aldridge just not good for the weight class. She's always missing weight. I don't know. She needs to. I mean, she could looks like. I mean, no offense. Like, she's in shape. She's strong, but she looks like she could. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just tough. It's tough for the average guy, like the average person that's not a pro athlete to really fathom that. It's like, okay, because I mean, obviously, look, I get they have muscle, they're training all the time, but you know what? You see people and they're like, you know what? You could lose some extra weight though. You could though. Or you just go up to a higher division. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre to be losing the weight that much. I mean, you got to have a talk with your coaches or with your nutritionists. You got to see what's going on, man. But anyway, that's enough of a bullcrap rant. Look, Robertson did kickboxing as a teen. I want to talk about her a little bit more. But BJJ is also, I mean, obviously it's her bread and butter. I mean, she's not really known for striking. I have no offense, but she's, I would say that's her weakest point as far as MMA is concerned. If you're going to talk about her ground skills versus her striking skills, the striking skills are always going to pale in comparison. Now, Robertson's takedowns are telegraphed in this matchup. So, Aldrich obviously defended them very easily. Aldrich is edging Robertson in the striking, and Robertson is, what am I saying here? I have so many notes here. I'm like all jungled up. I should actually organize these a little better. Aldrich is edging Robertson in the striking as far as the beginning of the round, right? And Aldrich even gets an unofficial takedown at the end of round 1 because she knew Robertson, wouldn't have enough time to get the grappling going. So she was kind of happy to kind of put a stamp on the end of the round. Really good fight IQ from Aldrich in that. Robertson got a single leg takedown on Aldrich and even took the back, but Aldrich reversed it to be on top and eventually got to the feet. So, I mean, just Robertson really getting her game shut down, man. In round 3, more of the same with both ladies essentially point fighting by Robertson. Robertson does have a cut, though, under her eye, and it seems to be the more damaged of the two. So, I mean, obviously, it's not good on the judges' eyes, obviously. And you'll see that Robertson actually does. Maybe she has some scar tissue because she often kind of has cut under the eye or gets bruising there. So, that's another thing to look at. Robertson doesn't really seem to have the grappling or wrestling strength needed to get the heavier, stronger Aldrich to the ground. That's nothing to really note. She is not the biggest in her division, Robertson. So she will struggle with that. I mean, being a grappler, you kind of want to have... I mean, you don't need size. It's good because you have BJJ. Those skills are used for... you can be a smaller person beating a larger person if you have the nice BJJ skills. If you're higher in skill level on the ground than them. But look, I mean, grappling, I would say size in the striking, it is a factor, but I would say that's more like reach, your length, you're able to use your reach. With the grappling, I would say size is a huge factor. I mean, we all kind of know this, right? You're able to manhandle. You can have decent skills, but if you're like much physically stronger than your opposition, your opponent, then I mean, obviously it's gonna pay in dividends, man. It's like, oh my god, okay, it's just extra plus money on there, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. So I mean, Aldrich is able to push Robertson up against the cage as well. So I think, like I said, the size advantage is there. Robertson pulls guard towards the end, but just ends up with Aldrich on top, landing a little ground and pound, and obviously getting control time, so she wins. I mean, it's just it's bad matchup for Robertson. One thing I want to talk about is props here so over 1.5 rounds is was minus 150 or something. So, but I'm not really sure about parlaying that, to be honest with you. Robertson by sub was around like plus 170. Maybe it's getting steamed. I'm not sure, but if you want to sprinkle on that, like I said, to be honest with you, with this fight in summation. So I know I broke down Robertson a little more, but the reason why is because we kind of know about Agapova. I've said this since the beginning when I saw this matchup. I just even without rewatching tape, and after rewatching tape, my opinion pretty much is the same. Like, look, it's either Agapova gets a TKO, maybe goes in there just wild. Like, she's obviously gonna look a lot better on the feet than Robertson is, and she's gonna kind of just outclass her on the feet. And Robertson doesn't really have that grappling. She's not going to just go for a double leg and just slam her down or anything like that. It's not going to happen, man. Like, Robertson needs to kind of find her way to needs to really get that game going. If Robertson survives the onslaught and Agapova ends up gassing and then are slowing down and Robertson's able to pull guard and kind of use her ground game, I mean, I could see her possibly getting a sub or at least a decision that way. I think you can swing on that, but I mean, Agapova, to be honest with you, as an underdog. And I mean, it's just hard to siding with Robertson, Jillian Robertson as a favorite in women's MMA. I mean, it's just man, especially against Agapova, who has a better striking. I mean, that's just red flag city, man. There's red flags everywhere. So, I'm seeing some people putting Robertson there. Look, she has a clear path to victory. I get that, but it's I wouldn't be surprised if Robertson won, but I'm not really confident putting her in parlays unless it's for a fun parlay, long shot, whatever you want to call it. Parlay, that's fine to me, but don't give your hopes up on that. I mean, I would say if you want to just have fun, degenerate action, sprinkle on Robertson by sub. Hell, even sprinkle on Agapova inside this by KO/TKO. I think that's okay. And I was actually looking at like I said, minus 170, but it's I'm sorry, over 1.5, but it's minus 150. So I'm not really confident in parlaying that, to be honest with you. So me with women's MMA. Look, guys, you know the rule of MMA betting. Be wary of favorites in women's MMA and heavyweight. Okay, just be wary of it. You always have to kind of be a little bit wary. Not that it's going to happen. Not that it's not justified a lot of the time. But yeah, just be wary of that. I mean, doesn't mean you have to parlay. It doesn't have to be bet the house. Bet, several units on that. No. Sprinkles, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's fine. Have fun on that, But if I can't find the overs for women's, if you're not confident in the overs in a women's MMA bout where you're kind of back and forth on either, that's a good suggestion to pass. But like I said, so my suggestion is this: if you want to have a little long shot parlay, maybe the over 1.5, sprinkle on that, just because what? How often does it go over? I mean, look, right? Robinson again finished by Aldrich, right? It lasted the whole round, all 3 rounds. Went all the way. And I could get something if she's smart. She could use her. She's gonna know she's gonna have the grappling advantage to get that done. But is it gonna happen in under 1.5 rounds? I mean, I don't know, man. It could. She gets her under the haymaker. She pulls a Chimaev, right, on Holland. Just no, fuck that, fuck your handshake, and just goes there for a straight up. Just helmet. Just tries to get that single leg, trips her up, and just gets that submission game going, and taps her out. Maybe, who knows? Could happen, but. I wouldn't be surprised if the finish happens there. Either Agapova by TKO/KO or Robertson by sub. But like I said, if I'm not comfortable with over 1.5, it's a fade for me. So you want take that with as you will. Like I said, I'm not really getting a hot take on here. I'm not telling you what to do. This fight is not the safest for parlays. So if you want to sprinkle, if you're just looking for I would say just passing this, or if you want to sprinkle Robertson, by sub, or sprinkle Agapova by TKO KO. And I know some people are saying like, oh, you'd be surprised. Maybe she has sub skills of her own. But I mean, I don't think she's gonna be able to really sub Robertson. To be honest, it could happen. But when I go inside the distance, that's fine. But look, I mean, women's MMA it's tough, man. You're not gonna see too many finishes. So I would say stay away. Now let's talk about another fight. So I've told you, like I said, you can either fade this or sprinkle on it for fun. Potential parlay piece. Let's talk about Fili versus Algeo over here. Interesting. Like, so Fili's like about like a minus 120 favorite. Algeo about plus 100. I say those lines are pretty accurate. I mean, it's gonna be a fun bout, and I like that when the stare after like, oh, they're like, oh, Algeo's fired up, like, oh, they're sleeping on us, man. Like, it's gonna be go, and Fili's like, yeah, let's get this money. He agrees with them. Yeah, let's get the money. Let's do this. Let's get let's show them, and let's show them that it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a good burner. It's gonna be back and forth. It's gonna be competitive. Kind of very interesting. It's an interesting matchup because they're kind of similar in a way as far as the styles, the way they match up. And I do feel like the line does reflect that. As I said, it's kind of like almost like a pick 'em, to be honest with you. I think if anyone's like too confident on either side, I think they're kind of lying. Kind of like the Agapova versus Robertson fight I just talked about. It's like you can't be like insanely confident in it in either side. But I mean, obviously Fili should have, is my take, but like have the all around / grappling advantage. He's working the team alpha as long as he has. Obviously he's got that experience as well. I mean, we think of like Fili as being this kind of like experienced vet, and which he is. He's like OG, but actually Algeo is the older guy, and we can't really overlook him. I mean, he's got experience as well, but Fili very experienced in UFC. We're gonna see him alpha male. Great. So he's got a nice wrestling base or grappling base. He's gonna have the nice offensive abilities, right? I mean, working with everyone there. So, good stuff. I'm a fan of Team Alpha Male. Obviously, I'm a fan of Cody Garbrandt and all that. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm behind that. But, I mean, like, we have to take it with a grain of salt, right? So I feel like if Fili actually comes here and really minds his P's and Q's, and I mean, he's not gonna see anything really surprising from Algeo, right? He's gonna be well prepared. Like, okay, mix in that nice offense. He has like questionable defense, questionable. I mean, people are saying that he gets rocked, but Fili's durable. He'll find a way to survive. He'll use the wrestling when he needs to, right? He'll go in there like defensively. Said on the feet, he's kind of a little wild. He can get caught. I think that's his biggest. His defense is his biggest flaw, I would say. But his offense and striking is actually good. Like, you go for it. Kicks, good kickboxing, right? Good punches a lot, primarily punching, but and then he'll mix in a nice takedown. Actually has a good takedown game with the Alpha Male. I think, but Algeo is really tough, and he'll look to use his striking with his like kind of karate-esque kind of traditional martial arts style in a way. I mean, he's not gonna like I mean, no offense, but it's not like anything that's like you should write home about. Like, oh my god, his striking's like just next level. But kind of reminds me of like, obviously not as bad, but kind of reminds me of like some other guys we see in there as well. I just drew a blank right here. I'm just kind of like reading my notes and going all over the place. But it's kind of bizarre. Like, I feel like he has that skill. Like, he has that ability. I mean, no offense, but also Mearshart, he has like a taekwondo background and stuff. Like, they have these kicks, but they're not the most fluid, not the most like, they're not crazy freak athletes or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're big guys. They have length and for their vision, and they can have throw out some nice little techniques. Like, you'll see Algeo kind of like getting that sideways stance, so nice little straight punches and throw a side kick out there and stuff like that. But like, so it could be interesting on the feet. I think it would be a nice little back and forth. Maybe catch something with Fili being a little wild and lacking his defense at times. But I mean, it's not like Fili's going to be completely surprised by it. I think it'll be pretty back and forth on the feet in a way. But I would have to give the advantage maybe to Fili. I mean, just overall, I think offensively, he's just overall a little bit, more sound. I do have to Fili. That being said, I do have to Fili question Fili's desire. I'm sorry, I'm like stumbling over here as usual. But like, he's doing like clothing brands. Like, he's got this band going, been doing it for a while. Like, I think he was like, trying to do entertainment stuff. So, you kind of wonder about him. Like, look, with Fili, you always kind of think like, oh, he's good. He's from Alpha, he's tough. He's got cardio. He'll keep fighting for your money. Like, he has the offense there, but he kind of gets caught. And like, do you see him? I remember even in the beginning, like, do I see him becoming a champ? Maybe not, but hopefully he can climb the rankings. But it's just like, it's not like he's any spring chicken. So I just feel like, I mean, I think it's a good matchup at least. So with Algeo, they're gonna be back and forth competitive, but it's not like, I mean, it's kind of tough because both guys, I don't really see them necessarily becoming like champion or anything like that. So it's kind of tough. It's like you want to criticize Fili, you have to question him, but at the same time you have to criticize Algeo. But maybe Algeo is hungrier. You know what I mean? You see like he's not really doing like clothing brands and like entertainment stuff like bands and all that stuff. So. I mean, I think maybe like he's hungrier maybe. Like he seemed really good at the way in the faces. I'm sorry, he's really saying, hey, yeah, let's get that money, man. Yeah, they're overlooking us, dude. Like just seemed really hyped up. Philly, of course, went with it. I mean, he's hyped up. He doesn't need much to get hyped up. He'll fight for your money, but like, so they're both durable. They're both. I think like, and I talked about the overs in this. I mean, I talked about that earlier. I talked about it in chats as well. I think the overs is like the safer spot in this. Maybe we could see a finish, but it's tough. Like. You think offensively, okay, maybe Fili has more danger in a way, but not really. Algeo has a nice straight punches. He can catch Fili as well, but it's tough to see him get a finish. Like I think if Fili gets in trouble, he could use a grappling, and I think his grappling will probably, a little more solid than Algeo's. But Algeo's not like, he has sub game himself, and like he's hard to finish. So I think both guys are durable. Both guys come to bring it. So it'd be a fine back and forth, and it's got to go like. I just don't really see a finish happening. If it were to happen, it'd have to be like later on. Like I don't see any like round one finish or anything like that in this, right? So that's why I say I think the over should hit for this. I think they're both durable. Like I am leaning Fili in this, but I wouldn't. I mean, I could see like a weird split decision. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough. Like maybe Algeo wins a decision just because who knows? The judges see something. Maybe the grappling is not really being too effective for Fili or whatever, and then Algeo's kind of wins it because he lands some kind of straight punches, and with Fili's kind of slightly lacking defense, and who knows, maybe we could see a split decision happen here. I wouldn't be surprised. So that's my take. Play it as you want. The overs should hit for this. I mean, if you have a feeling of either guy, maybe you can go for it. But to honestly, I just feel like it's a little dangerous here. I am siding with Fili, actually, but it's tough. You could see a split decision. Maybe he wins by split decision. Maybe. Algeo wins by split decision because a judge gives it to him. I mean, it's tough. So I said it since early in the week. I've said in different chats on Instagram, like I think the overs could hit for this. People are telling me it's dangerous. Oh, like Fili could get chinned. Algeo's can crack, but I'm like, I don't know. It's tough though. I mean, like yeah, but like overall, I think Fili's more well rounded. So I don't think he'll just stand and bang the whole time. I think he could mix in the grappling. It could be more interesting. So it could be. I think it's gonna be more competitive. So, I mean, that's my take, guys. I think, yeah, like I said, if you like what I said, like and subscribe. A little bit of rambling video. I want to make it shorter, but you got 2 for the price of 1, whatever that means, right? You got 2 breakdown videos here. So, yeah, best of luck, guys. Enjoy the fights. And, yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think you should be really careful. Take what I said here and add your own thoughts in here. If you should have been watching some fights as well. And yeah, just don't be parlaying everything. Know what's good to sprinkle on. Robertson by sprinkle is a fun one. Right? Agapova is fine in herself, like as an underdog. I mean, that's fun. Overs, you have to question that because maybe it's dangerous. Fili versus Algeo, you have to be really. I think the line is pretty accurate. I think Fili with his experience and overall experience and overall well-rounded game should give him the edge, but it can be a close fight because Algeo is quite similar in a way, and he has it's gonna be competitive on the feet. He has some power, he can crack a little bit. He has some sub skills of his own, so it's kind of tough to finish at least. So I feel like yeah, I mean the overs are good for that. If you want to take like I said, take what I'm saying. If you agree with it, go with it. If not, then you can fade it. And yeah, just best of luck, guys. No more rambling. Peace out.